because other than the short message, there was a new gameplay trailer for Silent Hill 2 Remake that came out today. So let's take a moment and watch that. What the fuck? Get out of here, chat. That's the wrong window. There we go. Okay. Deep breaths, everybody. Bloober Team, Silent Hill 2. New trailer. No release date. They didn't even give us a release date, but we got a new trailer. James is looking at Corpse James in front of the TV. It's the apartments. Look at all that goop on the screen. Don't you love it when there's goop on the screen? You can't see shit? The action movie rendition of this song. In development for PlayStation 5, baby. Okay. All right, frame by frame. Let's just kind of go through here and make note of some things. So we've got a lot of shots from the Woodside Apartments and the Blue Creek Apartments. A little bit of Brookhaven in there. Radioactive hair. It's okay. It's a bright, staticky TV. It's reflecting off of his blonde hair. It does look exceptionally blonde here, but you know, it's fine. Just lighting things could be the last layer of polish. It's not there yet. Okay. We've got, instead of the corpse being visible in the chair, the "oh my god, who could have done this" moment in the apartments, they left it more ambiguous with like a bloody cloth over them. Silence of the Lambs reference. Dropping some canned juice down a garbage chute. I'm glad that's still in the game. It even looks the same. This looks very close to the way the asset looks in the menu in the original. Safe puzzle from Woodside Apartments. This is the one that you solve after getting the wallet out of the toilet, so I'm assuming we still get that scene. We get a full look. This is the corpse in the fridge next to Eddie. Normally, you only get to see like a little bit of their feet sticking out to imply that it's maybe a human, maybe not. Like, you're not supposed to know in the original. Now, you fucking just look at this human corpse. Like, no ambiguity to it whatsoever. Stuff like this is what worries me. These are the weird little changes. Look at those guts. That's RE7. Oh, it is very similar to the RE7 fridges, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, get a nice close up of it. James crossing over from the Woodside Apartments to the Blue Creek Apartments through the fire escape. Clock puzzle. I wonder if you'll still be able to determine game RNG, puzzle RNG, using this puzzle. That's what you do in the speed runs for the original Silent Hill 2. Look at this Silent Hill phenomenon, fog everywhere. Chased by Pyramid Head, and I've got COVID. I'm sorry. I'm going to be making jokes about fucking Silent Hill COVID for a long time. I hope everybody's ready for that to become old and stale immediately. Alleyway right outside of. This is either right after coming out of Blue Creek Apartments, or this. It's too wide, I think, to be the alley where the trash falls down, but it could be that area. That's the entrance to the apartments. I thought it was a bank at first. Yeah. That that is the entrance to Woodside. The flag here, I think, is what does it. It makes it look like a school or a post office rather than like just an apartment building. Like a little reception desk there with these stairs. This might be. Where is this? Where is this supposed to be? I mean, walking into the apartments, there's not really this. Like, there's no stairs. Could be hotel, but the reception desk and stuff looks different. It's gonna be just a reworked area. I'm just not sure what area. Probably like the entryway for the apartments where the mailboxes are, instead of the bottom of the stairs being kind of just a plain square room, because there's not much there. They maybe tried to make it look a little more visually interesting. So like the first floor of Woodside Apartments, maybe. Going into just like a little office area. Long hallway. You can see some doors kind of on the left and right. So that's definitely like where you pick up the juice. The canned juice is going to be like on the floor at the end of this hallway. Probably that hallway right there. Desk puzzle, the coins. 3 bright coins in 5 holes B. And they rewrote this. First sits the maiden underneath the tree. The wind from behind the maiden doth blow. A beautiful flower since has to grow. I can't read. I need my peepers. It's the start of normal difficulty. Alone starts to grow. Thank you. That's the start of normal difficulty version, right? It's similar, but this is different. 3 bright coins in 5 holes B is the start of normal difficulty puzzle for the desk. At one end sits the seducer of she, is how it continues in the original. But yeah, this rewrote it. Sounds like new coin images. Yeah, maiden, flower, and something else. Man. So it's going to be like old man. Maiden is probably still going to be prisoner. And then flower maybe instead of snake. But who knows? There could also be multiple difficulty riddles with different variations of this. These have nothing to do with the characters, though? Not really, no. I'm just pointing it out because it's interesting, just seeing how they kept the concept of certain puzzles from the original, but kind of rewrote them. I'm just taking note of things. This is an interesting one. I think this is a new puzzle completely. I don't think this is supposed to be. It could be the statue, the portrait of the woman in Brookhaven, where her arms are coming through the door. But it's not stylized the same way. It doesn't have the whole painting and everything around it. So it could be that just completely reworked, or this is just an entirely different puzzle altogether that's been added. Is that Mary's dress? No, it's a wedding dress. What falls out of the hand there? Is it just a ball? Just a brass ball. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a wedding dress. We're going full Beetlejuice in this one. Fire escape. This is fire escape. Mannequins. Now they've got leggings on. I mean, I guess they kind of did in the original as well. They just weren't as clearly defined, like the textures. Okay, so here's where we're going to get into some minutia when it comes to terms of like art direction and stuff, because it's so hard when you're thinking about the limitations of PlayStation 2, right? The textures kind of blend together where you can't really tell when you're looking at what's supposed to be skin or what's supposed to be flesh, what's supposed to be mannequin like plastic and rubber. And you're never really quite sure what you're looking at. The original makes everything look sort of wet, like wet skin. It looks kind of gross in that regard, and it makes the fabric not stand out so much because it's sort of wet fabric on skin blending with it, you know, a lot more than other textures would, if not wet, if they were dry, hanging off of the skin more loosely. So this gives you, I guess, just a lot more visual detail. You can see kind of the segments where it looks more like flesh, looks more like plastic, and then has like the leggings and straps and stuff kind of coming off of it. and it gets bloodied over the course of being attacked. Look at the fucking nail bat. It's like a, I know it's just the wooden plank, but they really emphasized the way that looks. The time on the clock is what the solution to the other puzzle would be. 10 past 9, which is the solution in the original Silent Hill 2. Nice eye. Good catch there, Pablo. So, is it weird for me to say when I see this in motion, like just looking at it as a still shot, it looks okay, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. When I'm watching the animations actually play out, I'm like, this is a neat mod for The Last of Us. Now, I know there's only so many ways you can like hit a humanoid creature with a blunt object, but a lot of this just, it feels like The Last of Us. Like the combat is giving me big Last of Us vibes compared to anything else. Like the little bit that we had before this was just like half a second of James dodging a nurse on a developer's monitor. That's all we've had to look at for the last couple of years. So going off of that, I would have assumed that the combat would be a little bit more like Homecoming like. But seeing it in action in this trailer, mashing QTE to get creature off of you, getting stuff puked onto the screen, this feels strange to see. This is what makes it feel like this is a Silent Hill skin, like a mod for some other game. They went for the look of the movies, for the lying figures without the boots. Yeah, because you can see these ones have the boots. Look at that too. Look at the fucking, what do you call that? Where the thigh meat sticks out over the top of the edge. Handcrafted by Masahiro Ito himself. That is definitely one of his things. And I'm not here to shame him for it. Yeah, these do look very kind of movie like on the design, the ones without it. I mean, it's not too dissimilar from some of the concept art and stuff for lying figures in for the original Silent Hill 2. Where's their zippers? God, the QTE. And this, even like if you're going to deal with the QTEs, like this in games, I'm getting real fucking sick of this shit. I don't mind a little bit of like splatter on the screen or whatever for, you know, they add that little bit of immersion. You do it for like a split second with like a bit of blood or whatever, and you do just like a couple drops. It should never really be obscuring your vision by that much. This is too much. That's too much. Blur. Where this? It's like a metal staircase, almost like a yeah, it looks like the metal stairwell at the very end when you're going up to the final boss. Unless they add some other little outside fire escape section to the apartments. I'm assuming. I don't know. Presumably this is later because James has his handgun. Look at that turlet. Yep. That is a lying figure in the tub. Is that a body bag or a body pillow? Yeah, it's a lion figure. Ass up. Am I crazy or is this too clean? I mean, it's a little hard to tell. Wow, his hair really stands out in shots like this. The bathrooms, it's way too clean. I mean, it's still pretty gross, but I see what you mean. Like there's almost nothing up here. But maybe they're trying to be a little more subtle with some of the gore and viscera. And keep in mind, this is also a gameplay trailer that could always change from how it'll look at the end when it actually comes out. But this still gives us an idea of certain things to expect. Clear inspiration from Resident Evil 4 Remake in this, you think? Absolutely. I mean, they've said literally Matoyo Okamoto and Genvid's CEO, Jacob Navok, they've gone on record saying like they're wanting to be more like Resident Evil. They're not outright saying we want to copy the success of Resident Evil, but they've basically said in interviews we're trying to reboot the franchise more like Resident Evil, where it's more about the general feel of things rather than established lore sticking to, you know, the titular town. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that direction, but that's definitely what the developers and the higher ups have in mind. So it's no surprise that this looks like a Resident Evil 4 skin. Like this looks foreskin. This looks like a Resident Evil 4 mod to make Leon into James, which is a thing. Like that's already a mod that you can get. So things like that are strange. Just seeing this and knowing that is actually Silent Hill 2 remake. That's silenced. Is that gunshot silenced? It doesn't look like there's a silencer or anything on the gun, but listen to it. Okay, that's just how the gun sounds. Mash the QTE. Now, here's the thing with struggle QTEs. They're stealing that from Origins and a bunch of other games that did that shit. But here's the thing. Even in Homecoming, you at least get some cool death scenes when you fail those QTEs. At least most of the time. You get some unique death scenes where like Alex gets fucking ripped in half by a schism and stuff like that. So there might be some really neat death scenes, if nothing else, for failing all of these QTEs. dramatic angle with the dramatic music while James steps across into the Blue Creek apartments. Spinning a valve. That would be in the labyrinth right after the Innocent Man puzzle. You have to get the key from the freed prisoner, the Hanged Man puzzle, and remove the handcuffs so that you can spin the valve. Look! Eddie! There's our first look at Eddie. He's there. He exists. He's puking in a toilet. Still no clear shot of the other characters. I mean, that's barely even a shot. We only know contextually because this is Eddie. Like, because of the scene that this is Eddie. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any idea what this blob is supposed to be. This blur in the background. This is supposed to be like the hat. And he's like kind of looking down this way, like there's the curve of his nose. There's his hand on the edge of the toilet. Finding the gun in the grocery cart. Some Brookhaven stuff later with all these nurses. This one is like coming through a door? Or is that already an open doorway? Does that nurse open that door? He does. Like in the process of swinging open. Why green blood? That was actually a New Game Plus option in the old Silent Hill games. You could change the blood color. So this might also have that option. There are also certain restrictions about showing blood on like YouTube and stuff. So they might have been using an alternate blood color to avoid certain region restrictions and stuff like that. Interesting nurse. When you see him close up like that. Boom. Shot that area right behind her. Slightly to the left. God. This looks like shooting guns in Downpour, and that is not a good thing. Wait, the nurses are mannequins now? This really sort of looks like a combination of mannequin and nurse, doesn't it? Oh, look, they gave the nurses the fused... Is it just me, or does she have the fused pyramid head hand glove thing? Yeah, these textures are strange. Looks like a rough build. It very well could be. Like, a lot of this could be pretty early footage. The rip stockings and stuff. But yeah, the stains and things on the outside here. Some of this doesn't look, I guess, quite right. Again, just kind of looking at this combat. What is this right here? Is that just the end of another pipe? There's like another nurse over here. Maybe a 2025 game? It's most likely 2024. Sony released a compilation of games coming in the year 2024 trailer thing, and that was officially through Sony, and Silent Hill 2 Remake was listed as one of those games. So, considering this is a Sony exclusive for the first year, Sony would probably be the ones to know, other than Konami and Bloober. But yeah, most likely 2024. I'm guessing late 2024. Yeah, the lying figure has like, this one's different from the others, right? It has like glass and shit sticking out of it. Now, if it's like an environmental thing, because there's broken glass on the ground in the original Silent Hill 2 games, and the lying figures, when you shoot them and they fall on the ground, they crawl around on the ground before getting back up. So if they added in that kind of detail where, like, if a lying figure is downed and then crawls through water, like dirty water and glass, the effect of those things shows up on the model. They get the dirty water all over them. They get the shards of glass all over them. That would be a cool detail. I'm huffing my copium. I'm trying to think positively here. Yeah, stomp it. Look at that. Look at this hop. Dude, put Silent Hill Nurse in Dead by Daylight. Look at this fucking textbook window vault. And you get the upskirt for fan service. This really is the Last of Us one. That is another very like Last of Us looking move, isn't it? Ragdoll physics. Blam. Oh, there he is. He's that man. He's that pointy boy. So this has to be. He's just. Now, he's standing there. I don't see mannequins in front of him. So either they really, really reworked the scene of James walking in to be different, or they reworked the boss arena where you fight Pyramid Head the first time at the end of the apartments. This looks like it might be that moment. But you're in a pretty empty room with just like a stairwell in the original. And this one has all these things to hide around. The knife does look like even bigger than usual, doesn't it? Is this just like a forced perspective thing? Or is the great knife like 8 times bigger? Meow, 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 meow. Okay. All right, everybody. What do we think? Do we feel better? Do we feel worse? Now getting more footage about the remake? It, similar to the short message, I don't know, it seems kind of underwhelming. Again, it looks like a fan mod of like a different game rather than what you would expect for like a ground up remake of Silent Hill 2 to be. It is mostly just the combat footage. That's the main thing that this trailer is supposed to convey is, hey, look, Bloober Team is doing combat for the first time. Which, from a cursory glance, just from what we get from this little trailer, again, it doesn't look like anything special. It reminds me a lot of The Last of Us. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I would call like the combat in The Last of Us to be serviceable for that story. But seeing that type of combat in Silent Hill 2 is a bit jarring. Like, I don't know, there's a certain rigidity to something like the nurses and the way that they move and feel as an enemy in the original. So seeing them like hop over a little barricade, do like a survivor window vault from Dead by Daylight over a little barricade is a little bit weird. A little bit weird. Oh, I know, Pedro. Again, I'm saying all of this completely aware. This is a trailer. Things could still improve. Things could change completely. So it's not like this is the end all be all final judgment of Silent Hill 2 Remake from 45 seconds worth of footage. Pre-release footage at that. So obviously we're taking all this with a grain of salt, but it's still something worth taking note of. You know, this is the game as they have deemed it ready to present. This is what they were willing to show us. Because at this point, they could have not shown us anything. The Silent Hill transmission could have just been them. You know what? It could have been like when Resident Evil 2 Remake first got announced. And it was just, what's his name? The developer opening up the shirt. He undid the button-up shirt, and underneath he had the t-shirt that just said, "We do it." They could have done that for Silent Hill 2 Remake. Just let fans know we're doing it and not show you anything. So the fact that they've been willing to show us a lot, both pre-render and gameplay and, you know, all of that stuff up to this point, I think is like something. They're at least trying to give us something, and hopefully that means they're listening to feedback and still tweaking things and polishing things for the final release. I still don't have super high hopes given Bloober Team's track record and Konami's current direction with higher ups and producers and everything. But hey, it's a new trailer. We got some gameplay. We got some stuff to think about. We got some areas that are familiar and easily recognizable. We've got some things that are new and hard to place. And I think the whole game is probably just going to be a mix of that, you know, stuff that's recognizable and done well, and stuff that is changed and questionable. We'll just have to see what sort of balance there is overall to the game as an entire experience. And we can't do that until the game comes out, no matter how much footage they show us. So that's all my thoughts on it. What do you think? Leave your response in the YouTube comments, and like and subscribe and go fuck yourself. There's no way this is getting monetized, so fuck it.